Earth is 4.6 billion years old. And here's the kicker. We've barely reached the midpoint. The sun has about another 5 billion years to burn before it fades into history. So we are officially at the halfway mark of this cosmic experiment. But if you think the first half was quiet, you're in for a shock. It's been a non-stop roller coaster of fire, ice, mass extinctions, and miracles.
Let's travel back 5 billion years to a time when Earth didn't even exist. Our solar system was nothing more than a massive, swirling cloud of dust and gas. As the sun ignited at the center, the surrounding debris began to collide, slowly building the planets we know today. In this violent process, Earth was born as a boiling, molten ball of lava. There was no solid ground to stand on, only a hellish, shifting sea of fire. While our planet was still struggling to cool, a massive celestial visitor arrived from the depths of space. A Mars-sized planet named Theia slammed into Earth with cataclysmic force, nearly shattering our young world. The resulting debris was flung into orbit, eventually coalescing to form the Moon. At that time, the Moon was so close that it dominated our entire sky. This collision changed everything. It tilted our axis, set our rotation, and established the delicate balance that would eventually make life possible. The true transformation arrived with a relentless bombardment from the stars. For millions of years, countless meteors and comets hammered the surface, but they brought a vital secret with them: water. As these icy rocks melted upon impact, the relentless rain began to cool the molten crust, eventually filling the deep basins to form Earth's first oceans. The sky remained a dark orange haze of toxic gases, but the stage was finally set. Our planet had successfully transitioned from a molten furnace into a watery cradle, waiting for the spark of life. The Earth had oceans, but they were empty. Below the surface of these ancient, murky waters, the stage was set for the greatest mystery in history: the origin of life. In these deep hydrothermal vents, superheated water enriched with minerals churned from the crust. It was a chaotic chemical laboratory where heat, minerals, and volcanic gases collided in a perfect accidental harmony. Slowly, simple molecules began to bond. They formed complex chains, eventually becoming the first self-replicating structures, the ancestors of DNA. It wasn't magic, it was sheer persistence. Over millions of years, these structures evolved into single-celled organisms. They were microscopic, invisible to the naked eye, yet they were the first living entities to call this planet home. They didn't breathe oxygen. In fact, oxygen would have been poisonous to them. These tiny pioneers, known as cyanobacteria, began to change the world. They started capturing sunlight to produce energy, and as a byproduct, they released a revolutionary gas: oxygen. At first, this oxygen was absorbed by the iron in the oceans, turning the water a rusty red. But once the iron was saturated, the gas began to escape into the atmosphere. The great oxidation had begun, and with it, the Earth was being rewritten for a future dominated by complex life. Earth's evolution was not a straight line. It was a series of extremes. After the warmth of the early oceans, the planet took a terrifying turn. Triggered by a massive drop in carbon dioxide and shifting tectonic plates, Earth entered a snowball phase. For millions of years, our world was a giant white marble covered in ice from pole to pole. Life, which had just begun to flourish, was pushed to the brink of total extinction, hiding in the dark, unfrozen waters beneath the thick ice sheets. But nature had one final trick up its sleeve. Massive volcanic eruptions eventually punched through the ice, pumping carbon dioxide back into the air and warming the planet once again. As the great ice sheets shattered and melted, the chemistry of the oceans changed forever. Nutrients were washed into the sea in unprecedented amounts, creating a global banquet for the microscopic survivors.
The stage was finally set for an evolutionary event that would change the world forever. This led to the Cambrian explosion, a sudden, violent burst of life. Within a few million years, the oceans transformed from a world of simple bacteria into a kingdom of complex, multi-celled creatures. Eyes, shells, limbs, and predators appeared for the first time in history. The quiet, microscopic world was gone. The ocean was now a busy, competitive, and colorful arena of life, marking the moment when our planet truly became a living, breathing entity. For billions of years, life was trapped in the water. But eventually, the first plants dared to creep onto the barren, rocky shores. They were followed by tiny, adventurous creatures, and soon the land was transformed. Lush, green forests exploded across the continents, filling the atmosphere with oxygen and providing a new, vast frontier. The Earth was finally green, and it was ready for giants. Then came the age of the dinosaurs. For over 150 million years, these magnificent creatures dominated every corner of the planet. They walked through massive ferns, hunted in the shadows of towering conifers, and ruled the skies. It was a world of raw power and scale, where evolution pushed the limits of size and strength. The Earth had become a prehistoric kingdom, thriving in a warm, stable climate. But even the greatest empires must end. A massive asteroid, miles wide, struck the planet with the force of billions of atomic bombs. The sky turned to ash, the sunlight vanished, and the long reign of the giants came to a sudden, violent halt. It was a tragedy for the dinosaurs, but for the tiny, hidden mammals scurrying in the shadows, it was the beginning of an unlikely opportunity. The stage was being cleared for the rise of something new. The dust eventually settled on the ruins of the dinosaur kingdom. In the silent, devastated world, the tiny mammals that had survived in the shadows began to emerge and evolve. Over millions of years, they thrived, branching into countless forms, from massive land creatures to the early primates. The world was changing again, but this time, evolution was aiming for intellect. In a blink of cosmic time, a new kind of creature appeared on the African savanna, one that walked on two legs and carried a spark of curiosity that would ignite the future. This spark changed everything. In an astonishingly short period, we, the humans, didn't just adapt to the planet. We began to rewrite its rules. We mastered fire, created language, built civilizations, and conquered every environment, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. But this immense power came with a heavy cost. We have reshaped the climate, driven thousands of species to extinction, and left an indelible mark on the only home we have ever known, creating a global civilization in the briefest moment of the planet's long history. But as we stand here today, we must remember that we are only halfway through Earth's story. Our planet still has 5 billion years ahead of it, a future completely unwritten. Will it be a world of technological utopias, green restoration, and voyages to other stars? Or will it be another cycle of chaos and extinction?